I'm Elena, and I never thought I'd be the type of mother who'd take her own mother-in-law to court. But when you mess with my daughter, all bets are off. It started on a Tuesday afternoon when my daughter Sophie came home from her cousin's house in tears. "Mommy, why doesn't Grandma Linda love me?" she asked, her little face crumpled with confusion. My heart dropped. "What? Sweetie, of course she loves you. Why would you say that?" "Because Emma and Jake are going to that fancy art camp this summer," Sophie said between sobs. "The one I wanted to go to so badly. Emma told me Grandma Linda paid for both of them. But when I asked Grandma about it last week, she said she didn't have the money to help us." I felt my blood pressure spike. "She said what?" "Emma showed me the camp schedule," Sophie continued. "It's the same one I showed Grandma. She told Emma and Jake they could pick any camp they wanted, and she'd pay for everything." I grabbed my phone and called my husband Ryan immediately. "We need to talk. Now!" When Ryan got home, I told him everything. His face went pale. "Mom wouldn't do that," he said, but his voice was uncertain. "There must be a misunderstanding." "Then let's call her and ask," I replied, putting the phone on speaker. Linda answered on the third ring. "Hello?" "Hi, Linda," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Sophie mentioned that you're sending Emma and Jake to camp this summer. That's really generous of you." There was a pause. "Well, yes. Janet and I thought it would be good for them." "That's wonderful," I continued. "Sophie was asking if she could go too. We'd be happy to contribute if cost is an issue." "Oh, I don't think that camp is really Sophie's style," Linda said dismissively. "It's very structured. Sophie's more of a free spirit, isn't she?" Ryan grabbed the phone. "Mom, Sophie specifically asked you about this camp 3 weeks ago. She told us you said you couldn't afford to help." "I don't recall that conversation," Linda said coolly. "Besides, Janet's children are older. They can handle more intensive programs." "They're all the same age," I said, my voice rising. "Emma and Sophie are both 8. "Elena, I don't appreciate your tone," Linda snapped. "How I choose to spend my money is my business. Perhaps if you and Ryan were better providers, you wouldn't need to rely on grandparents for help." I was speechless. Ryan looked devastated. "Mom, that's completely unfair," Ryan said. "We've never asked you for money. Sophie just wanted to spend time with her cousins." "Well, this conversation is over," Linda said. "I have plans with Janet and the kids this weekend. We're going to the water park. Goodbye." She hung up. Ryan sat down heavily. "I can't believe she just said that." "This isn't the first time," I said quietly. "Remember Sophie's birthday party last year?" "What about it?" "Linda gave Emma and Jake $50 each in front of everyone. She gave Sophie a coloring book from the dollar store." Ryan rubbed his face. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I thought I was overreacting," I admitted. "But this is deliberate, Ryan. She's excluding our daughter and lying about it." "What do we do?" he asked. I thought about Sophie's tear-stained face. "We document everything, and we make sure this never happens again." The next morning, I called my best friend Rachel, who also happens to be a family lawyer. "Rachel, I need your professional opinion," I said, explaining the situation. "That's textbook grandparent favoritism," Rachel said immediately. "And if there's a pattern of emotional abuse or exclusion, you have options. Can you document other instances?" "I think so. Let me go through photos and messages." Over the next week, Ryan and I compiled everything. We found birthday cards Linda sent to Emma and Jake with money inside, while Sophie's cards were always empty. Photos from family gatherings where Linda posed with all the grandkids except Sophie. Text messages where Linda made excuses to avoid babysitting Sophie, but volunteered to watch the other kids. A voicemail where Linda told Ryan that Sophie was difficult compared to her other grandchildren. I called Rachel back. "I have documentation going back 3 years." "This is worse than I thought," Rachel said. "This is systematic exclusion. It's emotionally damaging to Sophie. Let me ask you something. Does Linda have any formal visitation rights?" "She watches Sophie sometimes, but nothing court-ordered." "Why?" "Because you can establish boundaries without her consent. I'd recommend cutting contact until she agrees to family therapy and equal treatment. Ryan was hesitant. She's my mother, Elena. And Sophie is your daughter, I countered. I watched my baby girl cry herself to sleep last night because she thinks her grandmother doesn't love her. What's it going to be? He nodded slowly. You're right. What's the plan? Rachel joined us for dinner that evening. Here's what I recommend, she said. First, Ryan sends his mother a formal letter documenting the pattern of favoritism and its impact on Sophie. You inform her that contact will be limited until she commits to treating all grandchildren equally. What if she refuses? Ryan asked. Then you escalate, Rachel said. You can pursue a restraining order if her behavior continues to emotionally harm Sophie. You can also send copies of your documentation to the rest of the family. Won't that cause drama? I asked. Elena, she's already causing drama, Rachel pointed out. You're just protecting your child. And honestly, other family members might have noticed this pattern too. I called Ryan's brother David that night. David, can I ask you something about your mom and the grandkids? If this is about the favoritism, we've noticed it for years, David said immediately. My wife and I have talked about it. Mom treats Janet's kids like gold and barely acknowledges Sophie. It's messed up. Why didn't you say anything? I asked. We didn't think it was our place, David admitted. But after that camp thing, my wife is furious. Emma's been rubbing it in Sophie's face. We're going to address it, I said, formally. Good, David said. You have our support. 100%. Armed with allies and evidence, I felt ready for the next step. Ryan sent the letter on Monday. By Tuesday afternoon, his phone was exploding with calls from Linda. He didn't answer. On Wednesday, she showed up at our house. We're not letting her in, I told Ryan. He opened the door, but stood in the doorway. Mom, did you read the letter? How dare you, Linda shrieked. I'm your mother. You can't keep me from my granddaughter. Actually, we can, Rachel said, appearing behind us. She'd come over at my request. I'm the family's attorney. Mrs. Torres, your pattern of favoritism and exclusion constitutes emotional abuse. My clients have documented 3 years of discriminatory treatment. Linda's face went red. Who are you to interfere in family matters? Someone who protects children from harmful adults, Rachel replied calmly. You have 2 options. Option 1, you attend family therapy, commit to treating all grandchildren equally, and make amends to Sophie. Option 2, we file for a restraining order and share our documentation with the entire family, including Janet. You're bluffing, Linda spat. Rachel pulled out her phone. I have photos, videos, text messages, and witness statements, including from your son David and his wife. Would you like me to start making calls? Linda's confidence wavered. David said that? Multiple family members have confirmed they've witnessed your favoritism, Rachel continued. This isn't just Elena's complaint. This is a pattern everyone has noticed. I want to speak to Ryan alone, Linda demanded. No, Ryan said firmly. Whatever you have to say, you can say in front of my wife and our lawyer. Elena was right about everything, and I should have listened years ago. Fine, Linda shouted. Maybe I do favor Emma and Jake. They're better behaved. Sophie is whiny and needy. She's 8 years old, I yelled back. And she's needy because you've spent 3 years making her feel unwanted. Rachel held up her hand. Mrs. Torres, I'm documenting this conversation. You just admitted to deliberate favoritism. That strengthens our case considerably. Linda's sister Janet pulled up just then, with Emma and Jake in the car. What's going on? Janet asked, getting out. Your sister has been systematically excluding Sophie while spoiling your children, I said. We have proof.
Janet's face paled. Linda, is this true? It's none of your business, Linda snapped. Actually, it is, Rachel interjected. You used Janet's children as tools to exclude and hurt Sophie. Janet, were you aware that Sophie was deliberately left out of the camp enrollment? No, Janet said, looking horrified. Linda told me she'd invited all the kids, Sophie, Emma, and Jake. I assumed Sophie's parents had declined. We were never asked, Ryan said. Mom told Sophie she couldn't afford it, then paid for Emma and Jake. Emma, who'd been listening from the car, started crying. Grandma, you said Sophie didn't want to come. You said she liked different things. Enough, Linda screamed. This is ridiculous. I'm leaving. You'll be hearing from us formally, Rachel called after her. We're filing a cease and desist order. No contact with Sophie until you complete therapy and agree to our terms. Linda peeled out of the driveway. Janet approached us, tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. This explains so much about why Sophie always seemed uncomfortable around my kids. It's not your fault, I said. But I appreciate you listening. What happens now? Janet asked. Rachel smiled. Now we make sure this never happens to Sophie again. 2 weeks later, we sat in family mediator Dr. Patricia Chen's office. Linda arrived with her own lawyer.
Let's begin, Dr. Chen said. Mrs. Torres, would you like to share your perspective? This is blown out of proportion, Linda said. I love all my grandchildren equally. Then let's review the evidence, Rachel said, opening her folder. Dr. Chen, I've provided documentation spanning 3 years. Birthday cards, financial records, witness testimonies. Dr. Chen studied the materials, frowning. Mrs. Torres, can you explain why Sophie received a $5 gift while Emma and Jake each received $50 on the same occasion? Linda shifted uncomfortably. I don't remember that. There are 12 documented instances, Rachel said. Should I detail each one? Linda's lawyer whispered to her. She nodded reluctantly. Fine. Maybe I was harder on Sophie. But Elena keeps her away from me. That's a lie, Ryan said, his voice shaking. We've invited you to every event. You're the one who always had excuses when it came to Sophie. Dr. Chen intervened. Let's focus on solutions. Elena, Ryan, what outcome are you seeking? Equal treatment for all grandchildren, I said. Therapy for Linda. And a formal apology to Sophie, with concrete steps to rebuild their relationship. And if I refuse? Linda asked. Then we proceed with the restraining order, Rachel said. We'll send our documentation to the extended family and ensure this pattern is officially documented for any future legal matters. Linda's lawyer spoke up. My client is willing to attend therapy. However, she wants assurance of access to her granddaughter. Supervised visits only, I said. Until Sophie's therapist confirms the relationship isn't harmful. Sophie's been seeing a child psychologist for 2 weeks. She's devastated, Linda. Linda's facade cracked. I never meant to hurt her. But you did, Ryan said. Repeatedly. Our daughter thinks she's unlovable because of you. Janet, invited as a witness, spoke up. Linda, I love you, but this stops now. I talked to Emma and Jake. They've noticed how you treat Sophie differently. Emma feels guilty about the camp. Dr. Chen presented a formal agreement. Here's what I'm proposing. Mrs. Torres attends weekly therapy for 6 months. She writes a formal apology to Sophie. She commits to equal treatment with specific guidelines. Any violations result in immediate cessation of contact. And the camp? I asked. Rachel smiled. Mrs. Torres will pay for Sophie's enrollment. She'll also establish a college fund for Sophie, equal to any she set aside for Emma and Jake. Linda's lawyer started to object, but Linda held up her hand. Fine, I'll do it. All of it. One more thing, Ryan said. You apologize to Sophie today, in person, and you tell her the truth. Your behavior was wrong, not that she did anything to deserve it. We brought Sophie in. She looked scared. Linda knelt down, tears streaming. Sophie, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. Grandma made terrible mistakes. I hurt you, and that was wrong. You are wonderful and smart and creative, and you deserve better than how I treated you. Do you really think I'm wonderful? Sophie asked quietly. I do, Linda said, and I'm going to prove it. I'm signing you up for that art camp tomorrow. You're going to have the best summer. Sophie looked at me. I nodded. Okay, Sophie whispered. But you have to promise to be nice. I promise, Linda said. After Linda left, Rachel hugged me. You did it. You protected your daughter. David called that evening. Janet filled me in. I'm proud of you for standing up to Mom. Sophie came in, holding her camp brochure. Mom, do you think Grandma will really change? If she doesn't, we'll protect you, I said. Always. Good, Sophie said, smiling. Because I'm going to make the best art project at camp. Some people think revenge means getting even. For me, it meant ensuring my child would never again question her worth because of someone else's cruelty. Have you ever had to stand up to a family member who treated your child unfairly? What would you have done in my situation? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.